This reflection examines on APST 1.3 diverse backgrounds and abilities that were considered during the Year 7 SimLab session. Throughout the session, I incorporated a couple of strategies aligned with classroom management principles to meet the students' needs as they arose. I recognized Ethan's request for a coat rather than one of the lollies offered and redirected him back to the question at hand by saying, That is a great idea, Ethan, but unfortunately, coat is not on the list. I, I also called on him directly at times when I noticed he was beginning to zone out, with the aim of bringing him back before he had fully disengaged. These strategies reflect behaviorist learning theory using positive reinforcement to maintain attention rather than correcting after the fact. Peer feedback after the session also backed this up, where my colleagues did mention that eyes to the front was a useful signal. They mentioned that I was directly selecting students to make sure all of them were able to engage with the content and that I had good control over the classroom. Ethan did stay engaged each time I addressed him directly, but he drifted off again later, so this proves the strategy didn't always manage to keep his attention. Looking back at the footage though, this revealed a gap. I was so focused on managing Ethan that Savannah and Ava, who spoke the least in this lesson, barely got to engage at all. Next time, I will pay more attention to the quieter students and not just those who are visibly off task. This will allow me to foster a more inclusive classroom environment and improve overall student engagement. The groups were formed using Tomlinson's concept of differentiated instruction, pairing Savannah and Dave, who worked best independently in a quiet setting, while Ava, Jasmine, and Ethan were grouped together because they thrived on group discussion. Proximity mattered as well, as students who sat far apart were not grouped together so as to discourage them from speaking loudly and distracting the other students. This decision to place Ethan in a group rather than pairs was also made so that Jasmine and Ava could keep the task discussion and activity going if Ethan disengaged, rather than leaving a single student to just do it alone. This strategy mostly held up, though when Jasmine snapped at Ethan to listen during the activity, I stepped in to diffuse it by saying it's okay to Jasmine and re-explaining the task myself to Ethan. This interaction made me more aware of how easily something like learning styles gets treated as a settled fact in classrooms, including by me, without any real evidence. Next time when I'm teaching a class, I would keep the two group of three structure, but build in a specific check-in for quieter students like Savannah and Ava, rather than assuming the format alone would draw them out.